So this was our first solar installation. And because of the particular aspect, the guy put it on the side of his house. And we all went and looked at it, and we went, ooh, doesn't it look wonderful? And then planning looked at it and said, that's the property boundary. What is this doing to your side yard setbacks? That's why it's a really good thing that you've got everybody in the team. So we had a long discussion with planning, and we figured that one out. But, you know, it's sort of some of those things that you just have to think about ahead of time. Here's another one. Can't say enough about both of these groups of installers. They do amazing things. But we had other interesting things where some of the folks who were trying to get in on this system said, you know what? The installer tried to talk me out of putting this on my roof. They said it wouldn't be worthwhile. The people that you think are part of your sales team are not necessarily part of your sales team. So again, we kind of had some conversations around that one. This was an interesting one. Thing about being a politician is you kind of have to get reelected every once in a while. And there was just a little bit of pushback in our community. And a lot of misinformation that went out around sort of how much this was costing people, which was zero, but they made it sound like it was costing millions. And so we had this sort of interesting thing going on through our election period with this sort of, literally this banner of kill solar Colwood. So that's about all I'm going to say about that one. I should add that they didn't get elected. Okay. So one of the things that NRCan is doing, I think, is they're paying us to make mistakes. They're paying us to learn as we go. They want to know all about the mistakes that we make, and they want us to share them with others, which is what I'm doing here today with you. So here are some of the things that we've tried to do as a kind of mid-course corrections or learning on the fly. One of the things that we do is homeowner surveys. So that's a really kind of useful way of getting feedback. So all of the folks who get this installed, we're asking experience, you know, how was your experience with your energy assessor? How was your experience with your installer? What's working well, what's not working well? What are things you really liked about the program? How can we improve the program? So all of that kind of basic stuff that you would expect us to do. We're also working with adjusting the incentive levels. We want to know, is it just about the money? And I'm not convinced that it is. You know, is it just about if you throw enough money at it, people will do this? Or is there actually kind of more going on there? And I certainly think there's more going on, certainly in terms of kind of needing more information. Again, Royal Roads, what they've been doing is running focus groups with the folks who, with the community at large, with our installers, with the Solar Colwood team, and particularly with some of our early adopters who have taken up this technology. And so one of the things that they found out is clearly there's a lot of people in Colwood who are really pissed off at big energy and want to get off the grid. And they see this as a kind of a wonderful way of moving themselves towards that kind of off-grid local energy security piece. So that was quite interesting feedback. One of the things that I think is happening now is we're moving out of the early adopters group and into that kind of early mainstream group. And so I think we have to be changing our messaging as we go. And so we're trying to kind of figure out what that looks like. We're looking at bringing on new skills. We've focused a lot on the kind of the single-family home. We want to try and reach out more into the kind of the business community and start working with our multi-unit residential buildings. And we're also kind of playing with, you know, are there some kind of the cool new technologies like the solar, the hybrid solar thermal and PV that are out there that we might want to take advantage of. This was another one of those sort of things that we kind of had an aha moment about. So this is one of the homes that has solar on the roof, but you can walk past it and you would never know because the solar panel is at the back. All of those ductless split systems, nobody knows that it's happening in our community. So how do we get it out there? So we're working on developing these kind of nice, big, bright lawn signs that people can sit out in front and actually tell people that, you know, hey, there's something going on in this home. Ask me about what it is that I've done. This is a piece that we're really trying to move towards, and that is that kind of whole home approach moving towards the net zero home. And the way to think about this is, if you look at this, a typical whole home uses about 8 watts per hour to kind of function. And the biggest saving that you can make is in energy conservation, and it costs you the least. So this is really where you need to start. This is the insulation in your home. This is the turning off the lights. This is the power bars. This is all of the stuff that you all know about. Your next biggest energy hog, if you like, is your space heating. And so this is where we're working with the ductless split systems, but also encouraging folks who, ductless splits don't make sense to, air source heat pumps, more efficient furnaces, whatever it is, to take that one under their wing. The next piece, the next big energy hog is the hot water. That's obviously where the solar hot water comes in. And if you take all of this, you significantly reduce what you would have to have in terms of photovoltaics if you wanted to be kind of completely net zero. So we're trying to kind of get people to understand that hierarchy and how do they do that kind of whole home approach in a way that makes good economic sense for them. So we're only a year into a 3-year program. We've got a lot of learning left to do, but we think we're starting to make some progress already. I don't expect you to be able to read it from the back of the room, but this is actually a posting on our Facebook site. And what Keith says is, my average daily household consumption for the May 2011 billing period was 140 kilowatt hours per day. My average daily consumption for the April to May 2012 period was 82.9 kilowatts per day. That's a 41% reduction in consumption since the ductless split heat pump and the solar hot water installation, for an approximate savings of 165 from the same billing period last year. Wow, these numbers don't lie. Real savings, relatively quick payback, decreased carbon footprint, and local economic stimulus. A no-brainer. This is the future, and Colwood should be proud to be a proactive leader in promoting sustainable energy alternatives. Once again, thank you. I love stuff like that. That's what we're trying to get. That's the happy homeowners. That's what we're trying to get to. So, and Keith's a lovely guy, and he has 5 kids, so he really appreciates the savings. Economic benefits. We've already seen some upturn in terms of the local jobs. This is Ed. He's one of the Sauk First Nation installers. He's already been taken on full-time with one of our local solar installers, and one of his buddies is about to be taken on full-time as well. There's a lot of stuff that I call guerrilla marketing of Colwood. We have no marketing budget, but we have got so much exposure out of this Solar Colwood project, it's unreal. This was an interesting group because they were an international group of scientists who set the standards for smart home. And they're actually all standing around my kitchen table looking at kind of all of the sort of the smart home bling that Ludo has spread out. And as a result of that, we've been invited down to speak to a group with the US Department of Energy about what we're doing and the practical side of smart home development. And somewhere in my funny bone, I have to laugh that little old Colwood is going to be giving advice to the US Department of Energy. Okay, we've had a lot of recognition so far. We've got to be a pilot in BC for a number of different aspects, like the ductless split heat pumps, the pay-as-you-save when it gets going, the smart home development. I think we are one of the leaders in electric vehicle charging in the province, and we won an award last year at UBCM for our partnership approach with BC Hydro and Royal Roads University, all of which, of course, is nice to see. So, my 3 take-home messages for you. Please copy it. Home retrofits are really hard to do, but they're really important to do. I think it's kind of one of those sort of big pieces. If we're serious about reducing energy consumption in our communities, it's one of those really big pieces that we somehow have to wrestle to the ground. It's very hard to do. My next message is to all of you as individuals. Think about one thing that you can do to reduce energy use in your home. If you haven't already done it, think about getting an energy assessment. You learn all kinds of interesting stuff including very cheap stuff that you can do to save yourselves a pile of money. My third message is jump. You know, come on in, the water's lovely.
Thank you.
You're welcome.